They were a tenth of a pound off. I'm sorry, Roger. I did it. You know what? If you want to suspend me for a game, I would consider that more than justifiable.
Do it. Do what you got to do.
I think that's true in general, though, in sports, right?
Our good friend Leslie always says that it's not the crime, it's cover up.
It's the cover up. Yeah, I mean, we're talking about the lovely and talented Leslie Visser, but I mean, if he had just said, hey, exactly as you put it, that listen, I told these guys that the balls seem to be a little bit on the hard side. Right. It's raining out. It's going to be tough to get a grip. I told them to put it on the low side. They didn't have a way to measure it. They let too much air out. I apologize. I'm totally
I would have liked to see him step up for the ball boys and go, look, and don't make these kids lose their job or whatever. It's on me. And right there, my whole opinion of Brady would have changed, I think. But now I know exactly what I always knew. He's a Weasley little, you know what I was going to say.
Kind of wimpy, yeah.
It starts with a P. Sounds like a tick. No, you know what I'm saying.
You don't want to get involved in any of these kind of controversies. Look what happened. We were talking about it yesterday with Colin.
You mean
Coward.
I can get fired from this network?
I think you would welcome the opportunity to lose this job. You were telling Jory the other day, lose my number.
Can I collect unemployment if I get fired from here for saying something rude on?
But I just sent Steele's fudge my address. Told him I was you, so I'm getting your fudge.
You're getting the fudge. See, so I'm not even.
Man. I mean, delivery comes to the door. It's Steele fudge. You can't imagine where it came from. You're thinking it came from your buddy George the Animal Steele.
Can I get a $10.99 for some negative money or something so I can play that again? Is this a charity maybe for donations or something? Come on, work something out.
How's the NFL going to be the same? You gotta tell me that. I mean, here the Thursday night opener of the season. Everybody's
no Tom Brady. Who's the quarterback? Who do we get to watch?
They got a guy named Jimmy Garoppolo,
all right.
who I think played for one of those schmenky schools. I think
the Gropper.
That Tony Romo went to.
Yeah.
He went to where was that? I don't know.
So you're going to have Gropper and Gronker, the Gronk and the Grop.
He sounds like one of those guys you see at like Northern Illinois chucking a rock.
Yeah.
Go, this Garoppolo can really play. He might be a 5th-round pick in the NFL, but tell you what, he's lighting up the MAC.
I'd like to see if the kid lights it up for like 400 yards through the air. And
what if Brady never plays?
Brady who? Bledsoe? What? Did anybody say?
Like
did anybody
How
say
ironic
Bledsoe?
is that, right?
The Gropper has taken the hearts of the fans here. And
4 games, they go 4-0. They look sensational.
Love that. Kid sets every NFL record up for
Belichick
a rookie.
Mumbles through a press conference. Well, I was about to pull the plug on this guy anyway.
I don't know anything
thought he
about
was
it.
finished. He was washed up. They trade Brady.
Brady was
to the Jets.
To the Dallas Cowboys. The same way as, but the same. He takes the same flight. We don't want a tweeting canary.
Bastard. We can't have
he ratted out the ball
yeah.
boys. We never wanted him here.
Unbelievable. Yeah. I don't know that the NFL didn't blow this by making too big of a deal of it, though.
The NFL doesn't do much right. I mean,
the integrity of the game. They should get better officials if they were worried about the integrity of the game.
The only thing they do is they make a ton of money, though.
Ton of money.
Yeah.
But they got guys, I mean, remember when Red Cashin was like the junior official? He was 87 years old.
I loved Red Cashin.
He couldn't even get a job refereeing at Century Village, right?
Yeah.
Your dad was on the field out there, and he's like, hey, Red, is that a first down? It was first down. No, all these guys, the officials been in the league since the 1940s. They're grandfathered in. They literally are like great-grandfathers.
Right.
If they're worried about the integrity of the game, have the game be officiated under better circumstances.
How long did we have that?
Yeah. Unbelievable. And they didn't mind at all.
You got to love the Hawker.
Oh, yeah.
The Hawker's still there, isn't he?
But they didn't want to pay the refs, which they're already making like more money than most fans think that they would deserve.
They think they're like a
They
deuce.
put those replacement guys in there.
Yeah.
Like in a movie. I mean...
yeah, but those guys that came in replacement, they were terrible. I mean...
When you saw Stevie Wonder running down the field with a whistle in his mouth, singing, My Shari Amor, first down. You're like, wow, Stevie, they're on the other side of the field there.
And these guys were supposed to have been college referees, right? I mean, they had spent some time doing college games.
They were wrestling referees. They were wrestling... on a wrestling circuit in like the Teaneck Armory.
On every sack, the guy was counting the guy out on the mat. Yeah, on a sack. Hey, that's it, you're out.
They've had any number of disgraces in the NFL. For them to take this sanctimonious position again that this is about the integrity of the game. And I would venture this, that, and I would ask this of our SportsStreamNetwork.com followers.
Yes.
That Thursday night, you've been jonesing for football. You haven't made a bet on football. You got the shakes. You're like Muhammad Ali, man. You got Parkinson's. You don't know what to do. Like my barber today, the guy that cut my hair has Parkinson's.
Cross-eyed Tony, you're not still going to him, are you?
Right in your eye. Hey, what about that hair there? Don't worry about the eyebrows. Just leave them alone. They're fine. I'll wax them. I'll do anything.
Yeah, you know you're in trouble when you sit in the seat and he goes, what are you going to have? And you go, give me a regular. He says, what about your friend? Then you're in trouble.
Yeah. And when
Yeah, cross-eyed Tony, he's tough, man. I can't believe you're still using him.
You're going through the, just withdrawal like you can't believe. You haven't bet a football game in half a year. You can't bet the preseason, can you, unless you're genuinely certifiably sick.
Do you think it'll affect the odds? I mean, do you think there's going to be like a big swing because Brady's not in?
Absolutely,
No, I don't.
yeah.
I don't think there will be.
The Patriots would be a good team to take, I think.
I think they will be. I think they're going to win no matter who they plug in.
They'll be underdogs in every game they play.
For the first 4, you're saying?
But I think Brady will be there. If I'm Brady, I go ahead and I send this thing into federal court. What happens in federal court? Everything gets blown off forever. Right? I mean, some builders that
you think he's going to
they bankrupt the situation. They're prospering all along. And 17 years later, the poor schminks get to divide like a quarter of the money that they put up for the building. It takes forever, the delays. It's a blow-off tactic.
So you think Brady could possibly still play in the opener?
Yes, I think he will play in the opener. That's my opinion. I don't know. I'm not seeing that from any of the big pundits there. They have the usual panels assembled on ESPN.
I love those guys. Who's that one guy they always go to? That
Bill Polian, the old guy?
Yeah, the older guy that knows everything about the legal system, and he's usually standing.
Oh, that guy.
He's standing out on a courthouse step somewhere. Who is that guy?
You have two guys, and one of them was a leftover from the OJ thing.
Roger
Cossack.
Cossack, that's the guy.
He's kind of a mild-mannered guy, and they got another guy, not Thurman Munson, but it must have been his old man.
Yeah.
And he's one of these, hard-ass guys that's just like, yeah, well, you know what? It's not going to be easy for these suspects. You wouldn't want to run into him in court. I mean, he's like the investigative detective in that Reuben Hurricane Carter movie where he ends up in jail for 20 years for something he had nothing to do with. But, I mean, he challenges this in court, gets an injunction, plays in the first game, and you got to figure his strategy would be what? To not get a ruling on this for like a couple of years.
But if it comes up midfield or midstream and these guys are actually in contention for something, then it could blow up in his face. I mean, wouldn't it be better just to take the 4 games, and be done with it?
4 games is a lot for this, don't you think?
But in the beginning of the season, you may still muster up.
It seems outrageous.
You still could muster up a couple wins and still be 2-2, whatever, when Brady comes back. And if you can do that, you got to look at the schedule. I mean, they could be playing the Jets and the Dolphins, and there's 2 wins right now, no matter who they put in the field.
They play Pittsburgh to open things up.
Well, that's a tough
But don't
one.
you think the fans, I mean, we'd be curious to get some response here on our SportsStreamNetwork.com feed on the chat room or wherever you can. Text and Jory. You want to see Brady out there, don't you? I mean, the guy's got maybe a couple of years left, no? I would rather see him playing and see the Patriots win or lose based on the merits of their team than see some schmenk in there that's going to be a backup quarterback and now you got the Patriots maybe at 1-3.
You remember at one time, I think,
2-2.
But at one time, Dallas Cowboys were like the most hated team, or maybe the Raiders. I don't know, because they would always be there, they'd always win. Yeah. But I think that's turned over there. I think a lot of people hate the Patriots. Like, there's a lot of, maybe it's jealousy or whatever, but a lot of people you talk to anyway. I don't care who wins as long as it's not the Patriots.
Yeah, I respect them. I like this in sports today. I think it's a rarity, and you see it with a few organizations. And the Patriots are one of them, in maybe the toughest sport to sustain a high level of excellence.
Right.
And they do it season after season.
Every year they've been there. I mean, 14 years of Brady. He's been to 6 Super Bowls. That's phenomenal in modern era, where you have a lot of player movement. Obviously very short-lived careers in the NFL.
Right.
You're drafting lowest in the first round, almost as a matter of routine in every round of the draft. So
the toughest position on the field.
Yeah, I mean...
they're great. Like I said,
St. Louis Cardinals do it. They amaze you. They're in first place. It's like, what are they doing that nobody else is onto? San Antonio Spurs have been doing it in basketball. Who would it be in hockey? Maybe recently it's been Chicago, but before that it was the Detroit Red Wings.
Red Wings were on a roll.
But the Red Wings knew what to do.
Yeah.
They got Anna Kournikova to show up in Detroit, and she was with every Russian player that they tried to recruit.
Yes.
And next thing you know, I mean, they got everybody. They got Fedorov, Vladishmenkov. They got every single guy from the Soviet countries, that is playing for the Red Wings.
They had the entire Soviet Olympic team at one time.
I just don't think it's easy. I mean, look how many teams have been stuck. We're here in a town where the team's been 8-8 forever since Don Shula retired. Always in that category, 7-9, 9-7, 8-8, just minor.
If it wasn't for that small little blip where LeBron showed up here for a few years and got us a couple of titles.
Imagine if he didn't show up.
They're really, since the Marlins won that World Series with that paid-for team, that they had.
97, 2003, they kind of did it in legitimate fashion.
With good pitching, they had some great pitching.
They'd grown the players through the system and ended up, kind of coming
But that was it, 2003, the Dolphins have been struggling as of the last, 20 years or so? The Dolphins been a long run. since since Danny left, I guess. Really,
since 1972, and
Don
Shula.
Hurricanes going to be this year.
Hurricanes not looking too swift.
Hurricane hoops, though. We got a little. We like our boy.
We like our guy, Jimmy
Larinaga. Yeah,
he's a New York old salty dog, from the playground.
You get the kids to play with what he gets. He gets the most out of his guys. I mean, he doesn't get the greatest guys in the world, but he gets the most out of them, which is good.
Yeah, he I love talking to that guy.
Yeah, no, he's a good guy.
He remembers a guy I used to play with in a park many years ago named Eddie Malloy. He was a flash out of Long Island.
Yeah.
And Larinaga played with this kid and was sort of like the hot shot guard at another school. I think Eddie Malloy went to, I forget the name, it was a famous high school, and I believe that Larinaga went to Archbishop Malloy, which was a big-time New York high school, coached by like one of those Fable guys that was there. Who was the guy? It was Hurley. Right?
Bobby Hurley?
New Jersey, right? Didn't he coach some high school in New Jersey for like 50 years?
The dad did. Yeah. Like St. Mary's or something.
Still does, and they always won the state championship.
All the Hurley boys came through there, yeah.
One of the legendary guys, all good stuff. But anyway, that's the big news today. Brady, suspension upheld. You would imagine he goes to federal court, gets his thing. I think he plays on opening day and rolls the dice that the suspension is not actually something he has to serve until after he retires.
What was Greg Hardy's suspension?
He was originally suspended by the NFL for 10 games, and that was reduced by an arbitrator who was hired by the NFL to 4 games.
So he's got the same penalty as for maybe deflating a football?
Yeah, for killing a woman. I mean,
it just seems like in the grand scheme of it's like doesn't fit the punishment.
6 of one, half a dozen of the other. I mean, it's the same
how they could talk about the integrity of the game, though. Here's the very same league that in its zeal and quest to just
the integrity of the game.
I mean, just shovel every dollar they can in their pockets. They take this year, your Jet game, right? You look forward to this every year. The home game between the Dolphins and the Jets.
One of my greatest days of living in South Florida is to get to see the stinking Jets come down here and play. And what they do?
They moved it to London.
London, England.
9:30 in the morning. I don't even know if you'll be awake when that game is kicking off.
Yeah, and that's a big moneymaker for the NFL, Dolphins.
Yeah.
They got Darrell Revis now, right?
They got Revis on the Jets.
They got Revis. They got Cromartie too.
Cromartie, with his 11 kids.
The baby maker.
It's amazing, right? That was one of the greatest scenes ever on
he's got
HBO.
He's got 18 3-year-olds. I mean, the guy's amazing.
He had more 3-year-olds in the barn than Bob Baffert that year. It was incredible. He had the top 3-year-olds, fillies, mares, whatever you needed. I mean,
it was amazing. I mean, this guy and his 7 different girlfriends or wives. They were all. It
was great when he started naming them off, though.
Yeah,
and that's why George Foreman was smart. He named all his kids George.
Yeah.
This way, he had like 27 kids. They all had the Foreman grill. That's
George Foreman. Yeah.
Don't forget, you got Ronda Rousey fighting this weekend too.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, we'll talk about that. We're going to take a.
Oh, that's a fight I wanted to ask you about. You're the boxing guy. You're the expert on boxing. You know pretty much. You follow it more than anybody I know. Paulie
Malignaggi
is going to come back and fight it.
Magic Man. Yeah.
Yeah. What's he doing? Is he nuts? This kid's 30-0 that he's fighting.
Danny Garcia.
What's the story there?
He gets knocked out, but he puts up because he's a pro. He puts up a representative showing for a while.
Does Malignaggi make big cash for this thing? It is pay-per-view.
Malignaggi's actually done really well for himself. I remember seeing him for the first time. I was following him a little bit because of our mutual friend, the Paulie Man. And we saw some articles about him. At the time, he was undefeated. He had like a 20-0 record. He was fighting in New York for some title.
A lot of flash.
A good boxer, but no power whatsoever. Could not break an egg with either hand, which was unfortunate. But he can box.
Yeah.
And you know what? The kid's got guts, tremendous guts. You have to root for him because he'll hang in there against anybody. He doesn't care. He'll be taunting some killer.
Yeah, but doesn't he always at the end of the night complain that he got robbed? Like he's always getting robbed.
Well, that's what happens at the end of the career, yeah. I don't know that he's getting robbed so much.
I beat him to a pulp. Come on. Did you see it?
Kind of like his AARP payoff in the game where he's making some decent paydays. Yeah, he has a big following. They're fighting at the Barclays Center in Brooklyn.
Okay.
And Danny Garcia is a Philadelphia fighter. He's been built up pretty well.
But he's a young up-and-comer. I mean, a good-looking kid, too, right?
Good kid, yeah. I think Paulie might get knocked out in this thing.
You think
but
so?
Malignaggi, the first time I saw him, I was doing a boxing event in New York at, I think it's called the Roseland Ballroom.
Okay.
It's like a famous dance place, but they had turned it, Lou DiBella, who's a boxing promoter out of the Northeast, had turned it into a boxing venue. And it was pretty good stuff. We saw some good fighters on the card. And Malignaggi was one of DiBella's fighters, and he was roaming around, and he had like blue hair, straight up. He looked like something out of the undercard of an MMA show somewhere in some armory. And I remember thinking, wow, this guy's a whack job, but he's really distinguished himself. He's one of the better boxing color commentators out there.
Great on the side,
he makes good points. He's not the most eloquent guy.
HBO uses him, or Showtime?
Showtime and a lot of other people. I mean, he's got a bunch of gigs now. But, he probably would serve himself better if he just stayed with the announcing at this point.
And just get knocked out here early and don't take too much.
Got to be a good payday. He won't get knocked out. He's a clever enough fighter. Guys that really know how to box. He might go to distance. If he does get knocked out, he'll go some rounds, I think, against this kid, who's not a huge puncher. But
so, if a guy would say to you...
But Garcia, there was no way you would bet Malignaggi over
you wouldn't.
Garcia. Never, no. Not if you were sane. But you'll bet the 6 in every race. So, we're talking about
a guy would
you'll bet the Jets to win the Super Bowl.
I will do that. I tried to do that. But it was too short.
You'll bet against American Pharaoh and Eddie Haskell.
I will. I will bet Stanford if he runs. I will find something.
Not Stanford. Anything but that.
No, I will.
You'd be better off betting Caltech.
Stanford just won the Long Branch 3 weeks ago in hand. We're fine, kid.
Everybody always gets on me about that because you gave out Stanford one day and what happened? He got left in it. Oh, he lost at 3-5 that day. He ran in a comeback race. Remember, he was in a 3-horse field.
I remember that.
Yeah, it was at Belmont or
something. You're still getting heat for that?
Yeah, I mean, how far up can you be? You give it a 3-5 shot in a 3-horse field.
Hey, listen, I didn't know the whole field was going to scratch and that the track was going to come up soggy. But listen, I'll take my lumps. I was wrong. I got a real beauty coming up on Thursday at Saratoga, which if you're tuning in, I'll give it to you. But
all right, well, we're going to take a break. We'll come back. We'll be with you until about 5:30 Eastern here. SportsStreetNetwork.com. We got Todd. He looks like he suffered a knockout himself. This guy's got 2 kids he's trying to handle while he's doing the show, and not an easy task. I've been through that. I used to have to take my kid all the time to the track while I was recording the racing report from Gulfstream, and it was like, "Hey, Dad,
right,
Dad, are we done yet?
Not yet. Come on with the 3. Come on with the 3." No,
I will come back, and I have an oddball golf story.
Oh, you do?
Which, there's a statistic out there that I think is really startling.
And to our big audience, again, once up there at Daytona Beach, Nissan.
Are you going to get that car?
I am. I'm going to get the...
They can only save you a nickel in that car?
The Nissan
Can't
Rogue.
They save you a dime? If they said it was a dime cheaper, you would drive there tomorrow.
It was no, you know what? The guy's a great guy. He said, look, take my number.
What if you were on your way to Jersey?
The guy gave me a great number. He said, take my number, hold it up against anybody down here so you don't have to make the drive. Now... I know it's a good number because these guys are still fighting for an extra 5 sticks, which, so we're right there. We're in the ballgame. Yeah, I mean, if he really wanted to see me, he would. He would drop the number down to another 1,000 and say, look, come on up.
What's another nickel to a car dealer?
I don't think it's anything. I mean, how many cars...
Don't they always give you this? You know what? You got a great deal, but wait till the next guy comes in.
Yeah.
I always love that.
And whatever you do, don't tell anybody else about the price I gave you.
Yes.
Because this is the all-time low. No, they don't...
Then you find one of your other friends, and they got the car for $300 cheaper.
They don't do that at Daytona Beach Nissan. These guys are legit. My buddy Glenn Noak, sales manager, call up there. I have their number somewhere. I'll give it to you later. But go in there. Drive right in. Take that jalopy of yours. Zoom on in. I don't care if it's smoking like a smoke bomb. Just drive it in there. They'll give you the best deal on the thing you bring in there. They'll give you great money for your trade-in, and they'll hook you up with a new Nissan.
You had that old Blues Brothers car you were driving that you actually bought off the set of the movie and tried to trade it in with our buddy Dan O'Malley down there at Deal Volkswagen.
I bought that at the municipal police auction for like $150. I tried to get $3,000 on the trade-in.
Crap that was.
That was a joke, man.
I think they ended up using that car in the Flex Seal commercial we were talking about the other day with the Phil Swift guy who looks like he couldn't get a job at a Denny's if he wasn't hawking this stuff that could plug a hole in anything, right?
Yeah,
the Hoover Dam could be going down. This guy.
I was thinking that that good-looking hairspray that I tried on that one time, when I had that hot date with the model.
Oh yeah,
and then it was real steamy. It started raining, and then all the stuff started dripping down. It was kind of an embarrassing experience. But that stuff is almost.
Then you found out she was worth $500 million. That was the good part.
Yeah,
all of a sudden you went to like Maury's and got yourself a rug.
What is this, Goodfellas?
I assure you, my hair will never leak again.
Look, you can swim in it.
That was the greatest scene ever.
He jumps in the pool, right? The wings have.
The guy's about to strangle him with the piano wire.
He got the telephone wire around his neck, and he says, "I want my money."
Let me see Jimmy.
All right, let's take a break.
Take a short break
before we lose our minds.
We'll be with you in a few minutes and be with you till 5:30 as usual here on SportsStreamNetwork.com. We got Jory, we got Todd working the show. We got
Did my fudge get here yet? I'm starving. Where's my steel pure fudge?
I had it sent to my house. All the comments about me and the FBI and my stock and all, I'm keeping the fudge.
See that?
Right, yeah.
See what you did?
Well, you better get used to it, yeah.
You better get used to getting things in small packages because then they're going to slide.
I think you'll have to sell next to David Sweat, right?
They're going to be sliding those little packages under the door. By the way, somebody sent you a cupcake.
I was just reading about how did this guy, the son of Sam, remember the son of Sam?
Oh, yeah, he was a
David
screwball.
Berkowitz.
Yeah.
Some guy they found out today, or last week, that they found out who actually slashed his neck as he was delivering water to various cells. So be careful, Jory, if this ever results in a jackpot.
Yeah.
He's clean as a whistle, this kid. Are you kidding me? To be on the board of directors of this company?
That's right.
The background checks are never ending. They go all the way back to his ancestors in the 15th century.
Right.
They said, "Hey, you were on the boat with Columbus."
That's right.
You know what else we found out?
Yeah.
Oh, you'll figure it out, Dad.
All right. We're going to take a break on that, though. We'll be back and finish things off with this golf, a host of other things happening on the show.
Two cutest little girls in the whole wide world.
Yeah, baby.
Kind of look like with the new ink in it when you were on the screen. You kind of look like trying to think of the guy. He's got the dark hair. Aram. There's the Bob Aram. Yeah. You got a little Aram going. Here we go. Who's your part? Who's your Peter Red at 5-1 on Miss ABC?
You guys are good. Hey, listen, that steals fudge.
association.
Yeah, he got
Well, that's what he said. He said, hey, Jeff will play next door. We said it out here. He goes, and now Jerry's doing shows with Kyle Martino. He's got his doors. Two good friends of mine, and Jeff was one of my mentors. So, Jeff. Picture with Kyle, come on, hurry up. They have to go back on, hurry up, hurry up. The first mayor of that. Come on, let's do it. Where's her little sister? Come on, I get to this. Hold on, hurry up. Sit on Kyle's feet over there. Come on, sit here. Just like a ready? One, two, three. Jeez. There you go, girls. All right. Watch her right there.
All right. The great Kyle Martinez.
Oh,
And here we go. We got about 15 minutes.
we got 15 minutes left. And where do you have to go today? You got
go
some
to,
other secret score that you're going to make?
Heron Bay, whatever that is.
What is this?
I'm doing a little deal there with a friend of mine.
Is it a good deal?
Excellent, yes.
Excellent.
All right, we ready?
Let's do it.
We're back on the air. We're back. We're rolling.
And we
I
got
love this. You're always rolling in this thing.
Yeah, just you walk back on. You go, all right, here you go. We're going to get it straightened out.
You don't have
now.
one of those deals like you had with that Chinese restaurant where
What was that deal?
you did the advertisement and then right after it went off, you finished the ad, you thought you were off the air and you're going, what a rat hole that place is. I had that happen to me when I was doing a boxing match. This was in the very beginning of satellite dishes where people could pick up a live feed of a broadcast that was taking place.
That wasn't the
Even
place
though-
where you sent me where they had the cat lo mein?
No.
No, okay, all right.
But anyway, so I'm doing a fight in North Dakota, of all places.
Yes.
And I'm working with a guy I never worked with before, a guy named Pedro, who was out of San Francisco. He's the color man. They typically throw crews together like that. One guy knows the play-by-play guy, the other guy comes in. So, this was in the very beginning. I think Al Michaels got in a jackpot for saying something that he didn't mean to have overheard while they were in a break. So you think they're rolling commercials, but the truth is the guys with the giant dishes, these were...
They can still pick you up, right?
They were picking you up. So this guy is talking about a fighter. I think it was Livingstone Bramble who was big at the time.
I love the Bramble man.
And he comes on the air and goes, Bramble, the Negro... and identifies him like that, and we're like, you're alive. The producer literally came flying out of the truck with piano wire and strangled him from behind. As it was an embarrassment to the network, and unfortunately,
I don't know that
gentleman never worked again. I don't believe.
I don't know. I mean, I like I said, when I grew up, in the time that I grew up, and obviously a little bit older, if you got called a few names or people referred to you,
didn't bother people. Yeah.
Nobody was bothered by it.
It's the same thing with me. I'm Jewish. I mean, if somebody says, "Hey, have a matzo ball, why don't you?" I mean, what am I going to get upset about it? I might want one.
I mean, you always poke fun at yourself, which is good. I mean, I remember when you tried to make that videotape "Jews Gone Wild."
Yes,
which
I
really
thought it had some potential.
Was it you?
Trying to get some of Jory's investors to
well,
pick
you
it up.
filmed some people out at Century Village, and they basically weren't moving. So, I mean, their idea of going wild on a Friday night was...
Their idea of going wild is protesting the receipt at a grocery store, going, "You forgot to factor in my discount." But that's South Florida for you. That's the way it goes. Maybe New York a little bit, too.
I mean, and then a little
to a lesser extent. And not a lot of Jews in New Jersey, are there?
No, there's a mixed bag of everyone in New Jersey. I mean, but some of the wildness takes place at the deli counter in that same supermarket.
No doubt. Yeah, now people are getting fistfights.
Yeah, they're questioning whether things are fresh. And
is it fresh? That's Boca Raton, Florida. That's actually the official question of the city, Boca Raton, Florida. Is it fresh?
Yeah.
It says on the sign, "Welcome to Boca." Is it fresh? All right, speaking of fresh, and we talked about the Brady thing in the first segment of the show.
You've got some golf news or something you said.
Well, this struck me. I don't know why. I mean, I saw it this morning. I'm looking through some headlines on CBS Sports.
Right.
Which I typically do before I do my radio show, which is on 6 to 10 iHeart Radio, and you can pick it up on the iHeart Radio app. 940 Wins
in South Florida. Yeah,
pick it up anywhere. I mean, just like SportsStream, which is great. So, I researched a few things. I saw a couple of headlines where they don't really elaborate, but they strike you. So the first one was Johnson's agent negotiating with Cowboys. And I thought, wait a minute, did Jimmy Johnson, the former coach, lose his mind? I can't imagine he wants to get back into coaching, and of all places, with the Dallas Cowboys. Maybe come down here, replace Smoking Joe Philbin or something. But,
right.
But it wasn't Jimmy Johnson.
No.
He's sucking down Heinekens and catching Mai in the Keys every day.
Somewhere down in the
making
Keys,
about
right.
$12 million doing some 1 hour pregame show for Fox.
Or he does those commercials for the male enhancement, which was
probably the most embarrassing athlete, like athletic guy, star, whatever, coach to product that you've ever seen. No,
Extends.
It was just so cheesy, right?
What do you think? What kind of money do you think he made from?
It had to be a big fat. I happen to know the number, where who's the guy, the giant guy, Tony Saragusa.
Yes.
Tony Saragusa did like the second most embarrassing ad, which was for Depends, a big macho man like Saragusa, and he's talking about, well, you never know when you're going to squirt one. So Tony,
you never know when you're going to crap in your pants.
You're 40-something years old. How lacking in control are you? And he's a giant guy. You can't picture him. I mean, his ass is the size of the
that would be a hell of a Depends. It would be like a pup tent.
Do they have extra large?
I have no idea.
But I know the number because I know a friend of his.
You know the number that you got for doing that?
Yes. And you know what?
Is it a big number?
Big enough that you would have to consider it. Regardless of the relative degree of embarrassment that's associated
I mean,
with being a young guy wearing a diaper
but
and you're telling everybody else. I mean, imagine you going up to one of your foolish friends like Alan and Madman Lipton,
I would,
and saying, hey, Alan, why don't you try one of these?
Yeah, but it'll
help you stay like upright longer.
It's so out there that even your friends that know you, that really know you, the people that you really care about in your life, they're going to go, oh, yeah. You can see him doing that. Like the Goose would do that if they're writing him a check for $2 million to do it,
It wasn't quite that much.
Well, whatever it was,
huge.
It was a nice score.
But Jimmy, I mean, have you no shame? The Albert Castiglia song from Musician Stream. You guys have seen Albert on musicianstream.com.
The Extends.
But the Extends was bad because, first of all, they needed a shoehorn to get him into that NASCAR outfit at the time. This was before he went on like Naked and Afraid, Jimmy Johnson.
Oh,
remember
man.
that? I mean, he was on like Survivor. He lasted a couple of weeks.
Right.
But, he got in shape, and he kind of whipped himself into shape. But this was bad because it had that stuff that you see all the time in things like this. Guys that all of a sudden have like their own TV shows. They're making cheesy sexual double entendres.
Yes.
So it's, here's Jimmy. He's wearing his stupid NASCAR suit. He fires a football down the field. Of course, you can't see the receiver, and you know that it's going to be an edited clip. And he goes, Extends. For when you really want to go deep. Jimmy, I'm a Jew from Brooklyn. First of all, going deep is a concept that we don't even understand. I mean, you're just hoping that, she, is satisfied within 30 seconds.
Right.
And maybe even like 2 times, and you go, yeah, there's a man. But who on earth, literally, you're having trouble, you're struggling in bed, you can't, get yourself an erection, so you're going to go to, like, the Shell station and buy something
that's hanging on a hook.
That's underneath the camouflage hats.
Yeah, and like
that have been there for 20 years that have like cobwebs on them. Yeah,
and like the little things that you buy for fishing, like the little lures and things.
Yeah, a little squiggly worm with a hook in it. And there's your Extends there with the 5-hour energy drink that supposedly Jim Furyk, there's another disgrace, is taken.
Yeah, right.
I mean, all of a sudden, this guy who's dull as you can possibly get, who hasn't got like an ounce of liveliness in him.
Yes.
And he's gargling with 5-hour energy drink now.
Yeah.
And that's what's getting him to finish 4th in all of those tournaments that he never wins. But no, Jimmy, that was an embarrassment. I thought he was coming back. It was actually Chris Johnson, the running back they were talking to.
Oh, okay.
Your ex-Jet.
Yeah.
Well, why didn't this guy have any luck with the Jets with Rex Ryan? I mean, you would think he would have done well there.
I really think Rex was just checking out, and he really didn't care what was going on.
You think he'd thrown in the towel? He was sick.
I think he was done. Yeah. I mean, come on. The guy, first 2 years there, he goes to the championship game, smoke and mirrors. However he did it, he got there. And then it was just down.
Who was that clown that? It was Idzik, right, from Seattle.
They came in there, and that didn't work.
He ruined Rex Ryan and any chance that he had. Rex is going to be all over trying to beat the Jets with the Buffalo Bills.
The first thing he did was he had the lap band thing taken out when he got to Buffalo. I think he's going to fatten.
Wings?
Yeah, he's going to just get to fatten up. He's going to eat a lot of wings.
You have to be fat if you're from Buffalo, don't you?
The fat
Is
Rex
there a
was
guy
actually
that's under like 50 pounds overweight in Buffalo?
I don't know, but the fat Rex was the lovable.
He was good.
Winning coach. I mean, once he got thin.
That's one of my theories, though.
Yeah.
That there's always room for the fat man in sports, and then sometimes There is no love for the fat man, unfortunately. But look what happened with Tony Sperano.
Yes.
He goes 11-5. He's a fat slob.
Loses all that weight.
Starts running stairs. He's dieting. He's on Nutrisystems. He's hanging out in Marino's garage where he has all that leftover stuff.
He's got the cool shades on. And
loses weight. Can't win a game.
Right.
Can't win a game. That's the bad news. But no, it's we were going to get into this golf thing.
Yeah, we're running out of time. Why don't we get to that real quick before
Here's
we got
the thing. I'm surveying the headlines. So I see this thing about Johnson. I get sidetracked thinking it's Jimmy Johnson, and of course it wasn't. And then I see another headline says 33% of golfers have had sex on a golf course. And I'm thinking,
nice. That's
pros, right? I mean, I'm thinking, what pros?
I mean, isn't that reason enough to take up the game if you're not golfing?
We know that.
I mean, we at least have a 1 in 3 shot of having a little action, you know?
We know that Tiger probably had some woman, like, over the table there in Butler Cabin at the Masters while Condoleezza Rice was looking on going, this is what I paid my membership for?
While defaming the green jacket, you know.
Right, he's probably using the green jacket as a towel. Right?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
5 of these. What do we need this one for? You got a towel? No.
No, but use one of these green
take
jackets.
The green jacket.
We're going to be handing it to Mickelson in a minute.
The sacred green jacket. Yeah. Put it on Phil.
I'll give you something, Phil.
But this was just regular golfers. Golf Digest, a reputable publication.
Yes, said that 33% of all golfers.
1 out of 3 golfers. So we did a little survey this morning on the show.
Yes.
And a couple of guys work with me. And surprisingly, at 15, one of my producers, young Chris, had sex on a golf course. And he got himself in a jackpot today because he said this on the air that at 15 he had sex on a golf course because he couldn't go home and have sex at home, and his mother was listening. The guy's only 21. Wow. So he's still in that area, that arena where the mother could possibly say, hey, what kind of son have I raised here?
Yeah.
I gave him all the credit in the world, but I would be worried about red ants, wouldn't you?
Yeah,
you're a wild man. I mean, you'll do it. I mean, you'll attack women anywhere.
Well, no, on the Jersey Shore, I mean, there was a lot of, action on the beach in the summer
beach
under the boardwalk.
Beach, I think you would get maybe, 80%?
Well, I'm just saying. I mean, if
80% of people have had sex on the beach at some point in time.
I would think so.
Either actually physically or drank the shot.
I mean, if you're from Nebraska, probably not. But I mean, people
by the lake, they were lake people. Lake people are really psychotic, though.
Yeah, but there's
a
lot of sex going on down by the lake. I mean,
exactly.
you watch some of these movies.
Yeah. I mean, that was a big thing when I was in California. Yeah, we're going to Lake Havasu.
Yeah.
What are you going to do there? A lot of drugs and sex.
Oh, nice.
That was it. Yeah. I mean,
like over to the
the
K-pop tree or whatever it is that you.
But I mean, you would imagine that a lot of people have had sex on a beach, but on a golf course, where do you go? Like to 16? I mean,
yeah.
What do you do?
I mean, right on the green, I guess would be where it was cut real nice and close and everything. It
surprised me. It really did. And 1 out of 3 golfers maintained. They only surveyed 1,000 people.
So you can imagine the next day you're out there putting and you got somebody's ass print right there on the green.
Imagine you are approaching and you finally hit a decent drive.
Could you imagine if it was you got out on an early round and the couple was still in the sand pit going at it? I mean, that would be
That happened to me once actually. And to this day.
Yes.
Well,
you don't tee off before
I wasn't
9
actually
o'clock.
having sex, nor was I. But the Doral tournament was underway.
Yes.
And I had just met a woman that was about to become one of my wives. And, we were at that stage, and, we were at that age also where, you were constantly, like, getting it on.
Nice.
So I thought that we were out of the vision of play, because we were, like, in sort of like a woodsy type enclave there that had a sand trap nearby.
And then Arnie hit his ball into the
No,
wood.
this was bad, man. A guy that I knew.
Yes.
It was number 10 at Doral, and a guy that I knew comes up, Mike Donald, out of Hollywood, Florida, and he was actually in contention in the tournament, and he says, I guess they had seen this action taking place when they were at the tee, and he says, figures it was you. I think he bogeyed the hole and lost the tournament. But we were there kind of rolling around a little bit in the sand trap. So, no, I mean, I don't know. Are golf courses any particular turn on for anybody?
I mean, it shouldn't, obviously at night, quiet, the sun setting. I mean, it's not a bad spot to be. But in the middle of a golf tournament, a PGA event, I wouldn't be diving. What were you doing? What were you thinking?
I wasn't thinking, apparently. But for the guy to call me out, that was bad. And then thank God it wasn't some hothead.
90-second lapse of reason.
What if it was VJ Singh or somebody that really was like,
VJ is now approaching
Imagine
hole number 4 and Oh, my God. What is
That looks like local sportscaster Jeff DeForrest. He's making out with some blonde.
Yeah, local sportscaster from WIOD.
Well, you see me in the old days, getting action in oddball places. What about that day in the pool at DeQuestis?
Well, you kind of had that Bobby Sherman hairdo going, too, back in the day.
Yeah, hair in the back is the key to that.
Yeah.
You have a little bit less of a patch back here. All right, we're
good looking here. We got that spray can. I got some left if you want to.
Saratoga Steam. You said you had something.
I do. I have something, but this come on Thursday. It's Thursday afternoon steam, and it's imported steam coming in from another track. Big numbers, huge prices. Yeah, come back Thursday and watch us. I'm not giving it out today. I just got this. I gotta check.
You frustrate more people on this.
I gotta check this information out. I gotta make sure it's what it is. I'm not gonna give it out if it's
written on that paper.
The name, no. It just says Saratoga Steam. Yeah, Thursday.
Wednesday and Thursday.
Thursday. Let me do a little
here
research.
On the show.
May have something for you tomorrow, but Thursday for sure. A little whistler.
All right, sounds good. All right, we got to thank everybody for tuning in. Is our audience growing at all, or are we down to 0.0?
Your audience is not only growing, but they're finding you guys very comical. Finding you guys very entertaining.
Fooled you guys again, man. That's great.
The trick.
All right, Brady, he's done. He's out. He's finished. He's retiring.
Yes.
See, that's how Brady should stick it to the NFL.
He should just quit.
He should say, you know what, Raj, I'm retiring. There'll be no Tom Brady, no Giselle. And in fact, we won't attend.
There'll be no Game 5 because that's it.
Hall of Fame, forget about it. People are talking about this is the dumbest thing I think that's happened in sports. You're an old-time sports fan like me. This business about, well, what's his legacy going to be? Right, LeBron James. How about letting the guy finish his career first? Huh?
Let me ask you: Did Ray Lewis get any games? I mean, he was
not suspended at all. He was only involved in a double
murder, but he got nothing.
That he covered up all the evidence, and somehow that white suit where he looked like Travolta when he went to the dance that night somehow disappeared.
Yeah, the suit was
with the knife
gone.
that Aaron Hernandez was using, or whatever the gun is.
It was amazing. Amazing, yeah.
All right. Well, we had a lot of fun being with you. It went by all too fast.
We have a lot of fun every day here, and tune in, tomorrow.
At home with DeFo and Jersey Kyle.
Yeah, and then Thursday on your radio show, you guys are out at Dolphin Camp. That's going to be good.
Opening a training camp. I've seen a couple of things in the beginning of training camps that impressed me. Very rarely do you get any real insight into what's going on. The camp phenom last year was Jarvis Landry in Miami. And he actually turned out to be a good player.
Really good, yeah.
More often than not, the camp phenom doesn't even make the club.
Well, you'll spot the right guy this year. I'm sure you'll come up with.
I've seen a couple of things in my career of going out there, and I'd have to say I've probably been at maybe 15, 20 opening day practice sessions for the Dolphins, doing various shows, whatever, radio, TV. I remember when Chris Chambers, who was a second-round pick, the very first play from scrimmage, makes some outrageous, exciting circus diving catch, and I thought, this guy's going to be pretty good, which I guess he only was pretty good. He wasn't great or anything.
Yeah.
And I can't remember the name of this guy, but I remember watching a guy. I just happened to turn my attention to the field for a second. They just waltzed out there. Nobody even has broken a sweat yet. The Dolphins, as usual, had their offensive line was a big question mark. And some significant guy, like a starter on the offensive line, took one step around a cone and then went down and was out for the season. Tore his anterior cruciate ligament within 30 seconds of practice starting.
What a shame.
So you hope to not see anything like that.
No, you don't want to see that. You don't want to see guys.
I want to see this Devontae Parker guy for the Dolphins out of Louisville. The wide receiver they drafted in the first round.
Yeah.
We'll find out if he's any good. And then I thought they traded for Steven Stills.
Yeah.
From Crosby, Stills, and Nash to replace Mike Wallace, but it was a guy named Kenny Stills, who apparently is like just a burner. And maybe he can do some of the things that they were looking for Wallace to do over the years. But,
you really have lost it. You know that?
He's got to be about 500 pounds. Hey,
listen, one question, though, real quick. For the technical department, if I want to watch, like, yesterday's show or Friday's show, they're not on there, kid. I'm telling you. No. There's only one here. When you go to the archive shows, I got one show on.
The only one not here is yesterday's.
All right.
They're all up.
Friday?
We're gonna have a fight after the show.
I'll show you.
I'm going to kill the technical department after that.
You're going to look like Paulie Malignaggi, I think. His face is going to look like it got hit by a truck.
They shot him 12 times, and he's still standing.
What is that? Did you get the license plate of that truck that ran over you? That was Rocky 1. That was.
Hey, have a good night, everybody.
All right, see you tomorrow here at 4:30 on SportsStreamNetwork.com.
You're out of your mind.
Thanks for watching, everybody.
You've lost your mind.